So I just met Holyfield, worked with him on the foundation, and we just kind of developed a friendship, and then became a very good friendship. And he asked me to manage him at that point. Like, I don't do it for the money. I just fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get up every day and do what I love. To this day, till today, I fucking love working. I love what I do. I was so broke, man. I was fucking borrowing money from the family. I was taking out loans. I was taking money out of my equity out of my house. It was like every other month. It was like, I can't. It's not gonna work. I can't do this. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And then you realize once you fight that voice inside of you, and you start believing in yourself, the whole world changes. From a social perspective, from marketing social, I would say we pioneered that game. There was no presence on social media until NFT came along. Until Mark said, let's go. And that's put us in a position where we control a narrative almost, and we just try to give the information that's as relevant to the space.
So that together we have clarity, direction, and success way beyond what we ever previously thought possible. Here's your host, Frankie Lee.
Welcome back to the Frankie Lee podcast. Today we have probably the hardest guest to ever get on a podcast in the history of podcasting. Mr. Jason Falovitch. He founded at NFT with Mr. Mark Cuban himself, and he's done bits, and I'm telling you now, he's also managed Holyfield and done bits across boxing as well and all sporting arenas. And this podcast, guys, is something you have to listen to about 6 times because there's going to be that much value in it. Jason, welcome to the podcast.
I don't even know what to say to that. Thank you.
Mate, I'm just trying to, mate, I'm telling you, I'm hyped about this.
You're a good hype man.
Mate, I'm so hyped about this. You know how hyped I am about this. To give people a bit of an insight into this, right? How hard is it to book Jason on a podcast? Just so that people understand this.
I don't like doing podcasts. I don't like doing interviews. I'm very I just like hanging out with my family, being low key. I get enough harassment as it is. Not that you're harassing me, Frankie. You're just very convincing, so very endearing.
I think I said to Jason, I think if you're going to do a podcast, this is going to be the best podcast you've ever done in your fucking life. I think we're kind of like the way that I put it, but let's just rock and roll with that. But I think to give people a bit of an insight into you, obviously you've got massive social media pages on Instagram in the sports niche, and obviously at NFT, and obviously all the NFT space we're going to go way in depth with. But I want to give people a bit of an insight into obviously where you've come from, and a lot of your early days was spent in like the sports management space, right? And one of the biggest names that I saw that you looked after and did deals with was Evander Holyfield. Just want you to give a bit of an insight into how all that came about and how you even got into that space in the first place.
Sure. So I would say about 10 years ago, I graduated university, I did a postgraduate degree, and I wasn't necessarily sure what my next move was in life. And then I happened to get a job actually with my uncle as his assistant. That was my first, I had, other career jobs. That was my first entry into the sports world. And, I started from the bottom. And my uncle was actually best friends with Muhammad Ali, which
that's quality.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. That brought me involved in, can you hear me fine though, by the way?
Yeah, sweet. Yeah. I just love the fact that your uncle was best mates with Muhammad Ali.
About 30 years too. They had a lot of history, and I literally was started working as his assistant, and part of his foundation was just donating food across the world to hungry people, and they fed over 1 billion people in the last 30 years. So Ali, at that point, when I started working with my uncle Ali, he was too sick to travel anymore and go on these journeys and donate the foods and what have you. So Holyfield was also part of the foundation, like a representative or like a goodwill ambassador under Ali. We had Mike Tyson and a bunch of other boxers, but Holyfield was the most active, and he was the most interested in giving back. So I just met Holyfield, worked with him on the foundation, and we just kind of developed a friendship, and then became a very good friendship. And he asked me to manage him at that point and bring, I didn't know that was my route in life, but some things just happen and they fall on your lap, and it's up to you to capitalize on them. And I just realized I'm good at that. I'm good at, brokering deals and structuring deals and talking to people, etc. So I was about 26 at the time, and I was managing Holyfield. We traveled the world together. We did a lot of amazing things. And then about 2.5 years into that relationship with Holy, I was living in Europe at the time, and I kind of wanted to come back home. I had a girlfriend. I wanted to, kind of establish myself in Toronto, where I'm from. And then Holyfield he was in good shape. Like, we helped rebrand him and rebuild his career after he had some financial issues. And then I was recruited to be a president of a digital television network in Toronto, and then I kind of took the bait and I left. I still help run that foundation now as a director, and I'm still very close friends with Ali, and Ali Holyfield. Ali's passed, God rest his soul. Just still really close friends with Holyfield. We talk almost every day. But yeah, I felt that the management space wasn't as fun as it was. There was a ceiling for me, and I kind of outgrew it.
Just to give people a bit of an insight as well, how from your opinion, because obviously I know this because a lot of my friends are in boxing, but I think that boxing is one of these trades where a lot of people they make a lot of money, but they get a lot of advantage taken out of them, don't they? So they need.
It's not their fault.
They need managing right, otherwise, and they need the right deals making and the right people around them, because those boys have a habit of making a lot of money and losing a lot of money real quick.
Well, here's how I look at it. We've spent our careers, whether it be in building business, educating ourselves about business or communications or whatever we took in school, and just evolved our craft. Holyfield did the same thing. Holyfield, from 8 years old, was trained to be the heavyweight champ of the world. That's all he did. That's all he focused on.
He was just getting indoctrinated with that his whole life.
All day. School wasn't important. Just like for us, school was important. Getting education was important. Learning. So now, put us in a ring with Evander Holyfield. Me or you, right? We're fucking dead. Can I swear on this podcast, by the way?
Yeah, mate. Swear away.
We're dead. We go in the ring with Holyfield, knocked down in a second. Game is fucking over, right? So now flip it. Now put Holyfield in our world, in the business world.
Yeah, he's got no idea.
He has no idea, and he was given $350 million over his career, and all of his people around him were people he grew up with, family, friends, etc., and he felt obligated to take care of everybody. But a guy like that's not managing his accounting or his finances. He doesn't understand that.
Is that a cultural thing, do you think? Because obviously, like with a lot of the top fighters in the day were like, African American fighters, and they came from these ghetto environments. You know what I mean? And they culturally in those environments were taught the hustle, but probably weren't taught about the business acumen.
Oh no! Like for example, Holyfield grew up in government housing, in the projects. He had, I think it was 11 or 12 siblings, one room. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, he just had his mother, his father. He never met. Another 12 siblings on the father's side. His father couldn't read or write. He would just put an X as his name, as his signature, right? So for them, it was more about survival, not going out and getting killed in the streets or getting involved in drugs. Holyfield found the gym, and that saved his life.
Yeah.
And he managed, he had someone that believed in him when he was 8 years old, and they said, you can be Muhammad Ali one day. You can be the heavyweight champ of the world. And he believed it, and he dedicated every ounce of his life, not school, not reading, not whatever, every ounce of his life just to this, right? So he came from an environment where they were dirt poor. Some days they didn't eat, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same situation with Tyson and everyone else that lost all their money. Riddick Bowe being another one who lost $100 million. Like, that's just, it's not a coincidence, in other words, right? They're not all just stupid people who don't know how to manage their money. When you're at that stage of your life and you're just focusing on getting the heavyweight title, keeping the heavyweight title, they're not thinking about their money. They have so much coming in.
Yeah, it flows. Money's flowing.
A year, roughly, right? So, Holy lost 350 million after taxes, right? And that's like the 90s. That's like
That's
making
billions
billions.
now. That's billions
Yeah.
now because they're printing it.
You have a guy who's got nothing, and he put millions in front of him. He's not going to go and take the millions and go and meet like a hedge fund. You know what I mean? He's going to have the people around him figure it out, and they don't know what they're doing, and they agreed, and they just like when Holyfield lost all of his money, he thought he was loaded. He thought he had millions in the bank. He had no clue he was broke. He had a knock on his door. He lived on Evander Holyfield Highway.
Yeah,
in a 57,000 square foot house. It was I think it was 1,000 square feet bigger than the White House. Had the largest swimming pool in the world at the time, like Olympic size. Someone just knocked on the bank's like, "Hey, we're taking your house." Holyfield's like, "What do you mean? I got fucking 50 million in the bank." No, Holyfield, you have no money. You actually owe millions. And first thing is, we're going to take that house. Rick Ross lives in that house right now. Holyfield spent 20 million on that house in the late 80s, I think it was, or early 90s.
Wow.
How much 20 million is today from back then? And it cost them $100,000 a month in the 90s to manage the early 2000s to maintain this place. So millions a year. He's probably into that house for 50 million after taxes, which you have to earn 100 million for. And this is like in a time where 100 million today is probably worth, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 million, right? He didn't have a clue that he was broke. That just goes to show how, like when you get to that level and you're not even you're just focusing on taking over the world, beating Mike Tyson, whoever it is. You're not thinking about the millions.
Yeah.
They're just coming in you go into the ring and makes 30 million. He doesn't think like that. So that's and Tyson was the same way.
I think the key thing here is always have your finger on the pulse when it comes to your own money. Because at the end of the day, to be in a position where you got 350 mil coming in, across a couple of years, and then being in a position where you don't even know that you're getting kicked out of your own house, and then someone coming and physically taking you out of your own property. Yeah. That's some crazy stuff. But
I remember I went. Sorry, go on.
No, it's just some crazy mismanagement, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I remember. I don't know what year this was, but I was in Atlanta with Holyfield, and went to his house, and the gates have his logos on it and his Bible scripts, and guy's sitting outside his house. He can't, he's locked out of his own house, and at that point, he had nowhere to live. And he's like, the gates are locked. I'm thinking to myself, man, you built this with everything you had, and now you're trying to find an apartment to live in.
Yeah. And
he had no clue he was even coming.
Is Holyfield now? Is he financially good now? Because because I saw him fighting on TV the other day, and it upset me. It was. That's
probably a nice payday that he needed, right? He's earning power. He can make, probably $1 million a year.
Yeah,
just with his earning power. But that was an opportunity to have one last big bag. You know what I mean? He's not making, I don't know what he made, but I imagine it was 10, 20 million. And he ain't making that anywhere else these days.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a shame for me because I've watched him all my life, growing up. I've watched.
Imagine me.
Yeah. It's just that upset me because I know how much, getting punched in the head continually. Any punches to the head after 30 years old start to accumulate real quick on the eyes and the miles on the clock. And when I saw, what was that guy that he fought called? Can't think of his name. But when I saw him take the liberties that he was taking with a 50-year-old, I thought, not for me. It's an exhibition. You don't take those kind of liberties on an exhibition. I just don't agree with it.
Terrible idea from everyone. Whoever produced the event, maybe it was Triller. I don't know.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Thriller. Yeah, Triller. Yeah.
Whoever was advising Evander should never have allowed him to go in the ring.
Yeah.
But again, greed, right? They see $20 million. Oh no, Holyfield, you can do this. Look at you, you're still in great shape, and he is in great shape.
Yeah, he's fantastic shape. But the guy's lived that life.
Yeah, your speed, your reaction, your hand-eye coordination, all that slows down, right? And he doesn't realize that. He still thinks he's as tough as he was because they don't want to admit it that they slowed down. Like even the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight.
Stupid.
I hired Roy Jones Jr. for a fight like 5-6 years ago. I put him in the ring to fight a fan for $100,000, and this is like we had like tens of thousands of people submit videos like why they should fight Roy Jones Jr. Like they're like curling like kegs and shit. Like it was pretty funny.
You organized that. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw it. I thought, fucking, who's putting fucking Roy Jones Jr. in the ring with fans? And that was you. Fucking hell.
Okay. And at that point, this is like 5, 6, 7, I don't even remember, but like he wasn't fit to fight even then.
Yeah.
He happened to fight a nobody, but then he gets in the ring with Mike Tyson, and I don't know. It felt like the gloves must have been stashed with like feathers because no one got hurt. They were punching each other. There was no blood. It was entertainment. It was a gimmick.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of mutual respect there. And at the end of the day, right? If we're being totally honest, Jace, like Mike Tyson could switch off Jones's lights anytime if he connects. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, but Jones is still fighting.
But yeah,
Mike's in the ring ever.
Yeah, I mean, look. At the end of the day, I watched it and I thought, what am I watching here? Like this you're talking about two completely different weights, like completely different. Yeah. I mean, the Roy Jones at like super middle was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? But Roy Jones was never going to be a heavyweight in a million fucking years.
Well, he actually won the heavyweight title, Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, but
that was back in the day and different circumstances. But
but not
nowadays,
not now. Not
like
he's
he shouldn't be fighting, let alone. What do you mean? He shouldn't be fighting right now, let alone fighting heavyweights.
Yeah, but what I meant by that was like the body size of them both now. Like when they were both stood there, he's not a heavyweight. He's just a fat middleweight, basically. That's what he looked. That's what his body condition.
You're right. You're 100% right.
That's what I meant when I said that. But
you're right.
But yeah, that's so. Obviously, you went from that, and then you pivoted out of that into Playline.
So I was running this digital television network, which is where we did the Roy Jones fight, and I don't know. I was probably like 29 at the time. I'm turning 37 now. So I felt like I was my partner. So I was the first employee of that digital television network. I was the president. And then I hired our director of programming, which his name was Aaron Abruskin, who's actually my business partner now and everything. And we were him and I were running the company. Him and I were bringing all the beautiful events. Like we did, if you remember Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore, we did a $10 million hole-in-one challenge hosted by Shooter McGavin. It was a world record of the largest hole-in-one purse of 10 mil. So like we did a lot of cool shit, but like we were building someone else's dream. Like we didn't own the company.
Yeah.
And Aaron and I, we ended up hooking up with Michael Bisping, a former UFC middleweight champ of the world. Who's one of my best friends now and business partners. But at that time, we hired him to be on the card with Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
But he grappled Chael Sonnen. We actually have to get approval from Dana White to allow them out of their contracts. And that's why it was a grappling match, not a fight. We just, if the name value was good. So Mike and I after that became very, very close. Obviously, because I represented Holyfield, I had tons of contacts in that space. So I started bringing some business to Mike, and he ended up moving to Toronto for about 3 months to film Triple X, the movie with Vin Diesel. And I had just left my job as the president of the digital television network, and him and I hung out every single day and became best friends. And myself and Aaron of Ruskin we wanted to get into the fantasy space, the sports betting space, because like that was our passion at the time. Like we loved that space. We're big sports guys, big gamblers.
Because you were actively betting on a lot of these sports games yourself, and because you're interested, that's why you went into that.
Yeah,
which is a good thing for people to identify that listen to this, because what you're saying is lean into things that you love, essentially.
Dude, you got it. Frankie hit it on the head. Like we looked at the industry, and at that point, FanDuel and DraftKings dominated, and everyone else was leaving the space. It was the worst idea to get in, but it was what we loved. And we figured if we're going to leave these high-paying executive positions, we're going to do something we fucking love.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Turned to Playline. So I started out with Aaron and Michael Bisping, and then Bisping was champ at the time. He was fighting George St. Pierre, Madison Square Gardens, GSP's first comeback fight after years off. I remember I went to the fight. He was main event in Madison Square Gardens, ended up losing his title to GSP. And before I went down to see him, before I went to the hospital, and because it was the biggest fight of his life, all his family from the UK were there and friends, etc. So he said, like, hold fort at the after party because he had to get stitched up at the hospital. So I went to the after party, and I just said, Mike's coming, blah, 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 blah. And I see this one guy. I'm like, oh, my God, you're the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. So it was Roy Hibbert, who's a former NBA player. He's 7'2", giant. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Roy? Like, I recognized him. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm looking for Michael Bisping. I'm a big fan. I'm like, oh, yeah, like, that's my business partner. He just, he's at the hospital getting stitched up. He'll be here soon. He's like, yeah, what do you guys do together? I'm like, well, we just started this company called Playline, and we're just launching at the time. He's like, oh, yeah, I like that space. I'm interested in that space. I'm like, all right, take my number. We'll hit it off. And hit me up, and maybe you can get involved in some capacity. So I remember I flew home from New York, and a couple of days later, Roy called me. He just loved the project. He loved Mike. We hit it off. Roy and I are now best friends also, and he ended up starting the company with us. He invested alongside us, and the four of us kind of ran with it and just hustled all the way till now.
This is the one thing that I learned from talking to people like yourself and other top entrepreneurs in the space is the fact that, one, they're always leaning into things that they would naturally do anyway. So like with everything that you're doing, every business you're in, every relationship you're in, you like the people. So you're only doing business with people you know, like, and trust, and you're only leaning into things that you love, right? And they are the two key things that through all 57, 58, whatever number episodes we're at by the time this one goes out, everyone says the same fucking thing, and it's hidden in plain sight.
Black and white. It's not black and white, man. If you do what you love, and like, I don't do it for the money. I just fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get up every day and do what I love. To this day, till today, I fucking love working. I love what I do.
Yeah.
I would never have had that freedom. Now I have 3 kids. Like, had I not taken that chance, now I'd still be under someone's thumb, probably making good money.
Yeah.
In some corporate job. But now I have the freedom.
Yeah. And that's all we want. That's all we want. Everyone thinks the game is all this money, and money's great, but freedom is the ticket.
Dude, it's time. You're getting the only commodity in life you can never get back is time, right?
Yeah.
You can be the richest motherfucker on this planet. If you're dying of fucking colon cancer, you're gonna die. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money you have. You got to put a value on your time. For me, time is worth more than money. Am I going to spend my time doing something I love, regardless of the outcome? I didn't do it to become a fucking billionaire or whatever it was. I did it because I loved it.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to dedicate my time to. And every sign pointed against going into the fantasy sports business. So it's everything. But you know what? This is how we wanted to spend our time. We wanted to not only bet on ourselves, but do something we love.
Jace, like everyone in the world would tell me that podcasting is saturated, right? But the difference is there's not many podcasters that are doing it for the right reasons anyway. Like a lot of them
there's only one Frankie, right?
Yeah, there's only one of me. So obviously I build my own audience predicated on whether they like me or not. That's cool. I get that. But what I'm saying is that when I listen to people doing podcasts, I can see there's a reason. It's a lead generation for this, or it's a way of doing this, or a way of doing that. But when you actually genuinely love the art and you love doing every rep, and you like having conversations with people like yourself, and you're absolutely fully present in that moment as well, and you just fucking love it, I couldn't give a fuck about the rest, because the rest will just work itself out. Do you know what I mean?
You're talking like a veteran right now, because that's 100% true. When you got into your podcast game, you just wanted to get into the podcast game. It doesn't matter how competitive this space is. When I got into Playline, DraftKings and FanDuel own 99.9% of the industry. and they had billions of dollars behind it, and I had $0. Like bootstrap. Fucking, I was in debt for years.
Yeah.
Building the company. It didn't matter. I just kept believing in myself. I kept believing what I was doing. I didn't think about the competition. I just focused on me and being the best version I could be and build the best company that I know I can do. I wasn't like, the problem is people look at their competitors like, I can never do what they did. But everyone starts from this position of nothing.
Yeah,
Right? Well, you have people who started with money, right? I didn't. But most people that are successful and billionaires and successful companies, they started with the same zero that you had.
Yeah.
There's no different from this guy or me.
Yeah,
he puts
100%.
his pants on one leg at a time in the morning, same way I do and same way you do. And once that clicks in, the world's yours. Once you realize you're as capable as like, I wasn't smart in school. I fucking ADD, dyslexia. I was in special ed my whole life. Everyone said I was going to be fucking flipping burgers. Everyone in school, because I just couldn't focus, but because my brain was just like, it was an imagination. I always dreamed big. And then in the way we grew up, like we're probably similar generations, like that wasn't they weren't like having you, trying to like figure out what you're good at or figure out what your skill set unconventionally. It's like, this is what the rules are and follow this and this and that, right? That could brought me down, right? I convinced myself I was stupid.
Yeah, because they indoctrinate you to think that they try and place these labels on you. One of the labels that was placed on me as a kid is ADHD. ADHD to me is just about someone saying to you,
"Were you on Ritalin?"
Nah. Mum and dad would not let me do that stuff. Well, my mum was like, yeah, straight up for it. Like, if it calms him down, cool. But like, my dad was like, no drugs, no, nothing needs to alter my son's brainwaves like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Ritalin was bad.
But here's the key thing with that. ADHD is a label that people get given as a child and then take it on into victimhood as an adult. So they then use this ADHD as a reason why they can't concentrate, or the reason why they can't concentrate, or do this or do that.
I'm ADHD. I can't do this. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
But here's the thing, Jace. Right? The reason you can't concentrate on what you're trying to concentrate on is because you're not actually fucking interested in what you're trying to concentrate on.
100%.
That's it.
But
that's the game.
Something you fucking love as ADHD, you're the best at that.
Fucking look what we're doing here right now. Like, do you know what I mean?
Look at fucking what's his fucking name? Richard Branson. The guy's got every fucking disability out there.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's on this world for a purpose. Not everyone's supposed to be going to school and A+ isn't good at everything, right? We just have, like, people like us, ADHD. The guys are like, I don't want to say outcasts, but like, not the typical students. They just got to find they got to follow their heart and follow their dreams, and eventually when they find what they love, it's gonna work.
But you have to be beat a little bit different. You have to be kind of out there to go and try and do the things that I'm trying to do, and try and do the things that you're doing already. You're way ahead of me, but like, you know what I mean. You have to be kind of out there and back yourself into that. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, but you will only ever get to the highest of highs if you're willing to go to your lowest of lows and experience them and sit with it as well. Like, it's a fact.
Lows, man. The lows are low. I gotta tell you, when I started Playline, I guess I was 30 at the time ish. I was broke. I was so broke, man. I was fucking borrowing money from family. I was taking out loans. I was taking money out of my equity out of my house. I was like, it was like every other month. It was like, I can't. It's like, it's not gonna work. I can't do this. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And then once you fight that voice inside of you, and you start believing in yourself, the whole world changes. Everything around you, good things happen.
Was it Playline that really changed your life and changed your monetary situation?
Yeah, definitely. So Playline, because at this point, it was on me.
Yeah. So it's just about the biggest pivotal point then in your life was the day that you took ownership.
Facts. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it sounds.
That was my turn to get on me, right?
What was that? Sorry.
Now it's my turn to bet on me.
100%.
If I can't do it, I'm the only one who's responsible. If I can do it, that's my success.
Yeah, and this is what I try and explain to people. I'm like, if you take responsibility for absolutely everything, the good, the bad, and everything in the middle, if you take absolute responsibility for every fucking thing that happens to you in your life, positive or negative, and own that fucker, that is the freedom you need in the mind to achieve freedom in your life.
You know what? 100%. And when the bad things happen, you're supposed to learn from it and prevent it from happening again. You failed at this, you didn't succeed. Like when we were trying to raise money originally, like it was just no after no. Probably 50, 100 firms, people, investors said no to us. And imagine all those people say no to you and you have no money.
Yep.
You're still going more into debt to build your dreams. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everyone would be so successful, right? It's not supposed to be easy.
Straight down the line, what you've just said there resonates so much. Like you can't get too involved in the analytics of the, you know, you can't get too involved in the analytics of a podcast. You can't get too involved in the analytics of the fact that you've gone to 25 people. Just go to 25 more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Soon as you get tied up in that, you're probably not leaning into the right thing. Because that's showing you something. Because you're getting tied up in the wrong metrics. If I got tied up right now today in just thinking solely about monetizing podcasts, I'm in the wrong fucking game.
You already failed before you started.
100%. Because you're doing it for the wrong reason. You lose the passion for what you're doing. You lose the purpose. Has to be way bigger than yourself too. I mean, what did you tie your purpose to when you in the pursuit? Was this all to do with your providing for your family, or what was the key driver in the purpose play for you?
I just wanted. It's like right now, always it's just about my family, my kids. That's it. You know, at that point, I was single. I didn't have a family, but I knew I always wanted to be a dad, and I just didn't want to struggle. Like, I've struggled. I've been rich. I've been poor. I've been rich. I've been poor. I just didn't want to struggle anymore. I wanted to build something sustainable.
Yeah.
So my generations of kids in my life, and grandkids and great-grands, all have something to hold their hat off. Like, it's almost like the legacy. Like, my grandfather, you know, he was wealthy. He was wealthy. He was an immigrant. But he spent every dollar on like Rolls Royces and Bentleys, and he had opportunities to buy like plazas and properties, and he did none of that.
Yeah.
And when he died, he left nothing.
Yep.
It was just like he had like a fleet of 30 cars, and he had like 4 of the same Porsches and shit. But like for me, it was like I saw the mistake, and I saw that it didn't help the next generation, and like it was like, you know, immediate gratification for him. And for me, it was like, I don't want to like, I find that, like, you know when you have some people who have bad parenting and they fuck up and they fuck with their kids. Like for me, it was like, I just try to see everything that went wrong in the people around me, and how can I make it better? How can, when I die, my kids are...
Yeah, you kind of leave something that lasts beyond you.
Right. That was a lot of part of the motivation, for sure.
That 100%, and you're not here to do fuck all. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody,
one life, bro. One life.
Everybody, yeah. For what we know, one life, right? So you're put on this planet right now. Everyone listening to this, you're on this planet to do something, and you have to. Your only job. Your only fucking job for yourself is to find out what lights you up and lean into that. Put a bit of purpose around it. The purpose around it has to be bigger than you. It can't just be about serving yourself. Otherwise, you'll fall out of fucking love with it real fucking quick. And then once you've got that sorted, you can kind of move forward and start to move through the gears, and you'll start to see. I've seen more growth since I started to look inward in my life than I've ever seen ever. So with breath work and doing stuff like this, just doing the inside work, just doing what it takes to learn more about who Frankie is.
You meditate?
Yeah. I'll try. I mean. Essentially, what I'm doing there is that I'm sitting there and I'm letting my mind go to a place, and I'm not judging it for going there.
Yeah.
That's
that opens your mind to new things. Have you heard of law of attraction?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
That was I would say that was a big turning point in my life. Just believing in your own voice, and like in your soul, believing it, and not worrying about what other people around you say about you or judge you or whatever the case is. Because at the end of the day, like in a year or 2 years, you may never see that person again, and they don't like your life should be dictated on your happiness, not like what people around you think. And that's why I'm 100%. Not so big on social media and all that shit. Because like, I don't know, I just like. I like to look inward, not outward, right? I just kind of find what I like that makes me happy. It makes my wife happy, my kids happy, and that's where I just put my energy. And once you start to, actually, let me back up, because when I left the job as the president of the Digital Television Network, I was lost. I was totally lost, and I had broken up with a girl at that point. She was very ill. She had cancer. It was a rough go. So I left the job. I left the girl. Was like, we just broke up amicably. It wasn't related to the illness or what have you. I fucking bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, backpack on my back. I just left. I just soul searched, and I went for a few months. Actually, ended up getting rabies, so I had to leave. That's another story. But I just like kind of had to, like, the world was going so quick around me, and everyone was in a rat race, and everyone's trying to compete with each other, and it was, whoa, like, why do my friends own houses and I don't? Why do my friends have kids and I don't, right? And then once I left, and I kind of just like wanted to find myself, and I came home, it's like, you go at your own pace. I just found who I was. It was fucked. Like I forgot I lost myself. I lost myself traveling the world with Evander Holyfield and working with Muhammad Ali and running a president, being a big dog in this digital business. Like I needed a reset. And then once I reset, I didn't fuck up again. Like I came back I was a different human being.
Yeah, because you were placing your purpose at the time in other people and other people's journeys.
Yep.
And it's just...
And that was before I got a Playline, actually. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
But I was 30.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? If you're 30, even if you're 40 and you still don't know what you want to do in life, it doesn't mean it's too late to find that little bit of purpose, bit of clarity. And it doesn't. It also doesn't mean, Jace, that you have to go and judge yourself massively bad for it, because it's in the judgment one way or the other where people stop themselves from growing. That's what I need you to understand if you're listening to this right now. It's like in your own self-judgment. It's that internal conversation, that internal judgment that fucks you. It literally fucks you straight down the line.
That voice.
You gotta just be like, okay, cool. Like that didn't go to plan. Okay, how can we move forward on this? Or I'm going through the same pattern of events in business or with a partner, or I'm going through the same patterns communicating with people that keep leading me at the same fucking location that I don't like. So maybe I'll look inward and find out those triggers and find out what's leading to them, so that I don't keep fucking repeating them.
Life's too short. Like, if you don't learn from your mistakes and you keep repeating them, then you're just wasting your fucking life.
Yeah. So let's. I feel
like you and I can get so fucking deep,
mate. Honestly,
we can join right now, and then we're good.
yeah, mate. Honestly, mate. I'll tell you what. I'll do my first joint when I get invited around your house.
I love that. That'd be great,
mate. I've never done a joint. I've never smoked. I've never took drugs in my entire life, mate. Never drank alcohol. Like, I'm proper straight down the line, Jace.
I actually never I never smoked weed growing up. No. I actually started just smoking weed like 3 years ago, and I did it for medical purposes. Like, because like guys like us with ADHD, our brains never stop, and it just allowed me to
you to calm. Yeah.
Yeah, and my world I'm in now, especially with NFTs, like it's 24/7. It's around the world, never stops, doesn't close.
Yeah.
And I couldn't shut off. Right. So the weed just helps me decompress and chill, and like it actually gets me quite creative. So I
Yeah.
come up with a lot of ideas when I'm high.
Yeah, no, I think things like things like weed and things like mushrooms and microdosing and all that kind of stuff are things that I've explored in terms of looking into them and understanding them, and asking a lot of people like yourselves who are high level entrepreneurs that are using these things to access higher levels of thought and open up minds. That I have asked the questions about these topics to them, and they've told me so much information like what you're telling me now. But the way that I'm taking myself to the next level is I'm accessing the breath. And when you access breath in the way that I'm being taught to access breath through breath work, it releases the natural DMT in your body and takes you to the same place as where mushrooms would take you. Probably not as deep as quick, but the one key thing that I learned through doing it through breath work is when you go there with breath, Jace, and say you're going to breathe for like an hour and a half, and then after 20 minutes you're into that place where you get that creative and you can observe your own thoughts. If you get there through breath, you've had to do the work to get there. So there's some work required from you, the human being, to get to that place, right? If you take a substance, you are foregoing the fucking work to get to the place in a lot of cases.
Shortcut. You're right. It's a shortcut.
So, and there's nothing wrong with the shortcuts, but before I take a shortcut, I thought to myself, I want to instill the work ethic in me to be willing to do the work to get to the place before I take the shortcut. Does that make sense?
100%.
I just think
I actually did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like especially when I went away and I traveled, I started getting to, I started breathing more, and I started focusing on my breath a lot, and like, cause I find that I don't breathe. Like I'm just like so hyper and
yeah.
I'm constantly, I don't stop, right? Because if I stop, then I run the business and people suffer if I'm not doing my job, right? So I'm constantly going, and the breathing definitely helped. Like I'm building a house right now, and I put a steam shower in my main shower so I can just like have some time to myself. And I don't know if you have kids or not, but once you have I got 3 kids, 2 and under. I have twins who are 2 years old. I have a baby who's 4 months old.
Yeah.
I don't get a second to myself. Right?
Yeah.
I haven't had the chance to sit there and breathe for an hour and a half and do that shit anymore.
Yeah. It's a single man or woman's game, or it's a game that you have to you have to book time with yourself. Like you schedule in a meeting, you'll have to schedule in that time with yourself, and that's
you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
and your mental health is. I mean, now that it's weird. Like when we were younger, I was open about my mental health, but no one was. Right? It was like you were getting judged for it.
Yeah.
Now it's like everyone focuses on their mental health, and they realize they have to address their internal shit, or they have to take some time for themselves, regardless how busy they are, because you can't you need to work on yourself. It's like everyone just focuses on making money now. It's like, what about you? What about you? Like if I die right now, you know what people are fucked? Like my brother works for me, my 2 brother-in-laws work for me, my sister. My other sister was my sister-in-law. My wife doesn't work, right? If I fucking go, I have 50 plus staff. We're done. Everyone, me dead fucks 50 plus people, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta take care of me now.
Yeah, you're speaking to the choir. This is what I try and explain to people all the time, Jason. Is like our relationship and how we've become friends through Instagram and all that stuff, and this conversation and all this stuff, right? Because it's for the right reasons, and because we're just 2 people who are interested in different things, and we're having conversations, and it's just genuine. It works. As soon as you start to think about just trying to, I'll just try and sell Jason this deal, or I'll just try sell Frankie. I'll just sell Frankie. I'll just sell Frankie this NFT. Like, as soon as you start going down those lines, there's no growth there. There's no growth there because at the end of the day, Jason, you and I both know, right? There'll probably be deals that me and you do down the track in a year's time, 12 months time, 16 months time. Me and you'll do it. If they happen naturally, they happen naturally anyway. Who gives a fuck? No one has to sell anyone anything.
If your objective is getting me on this podcast to do a deal with me, then you've already lost me.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what I'm trying to explain. That's what I'm trying to explain. That's why you're turning down 99% of the offers that you get for the podcast.
I know everybody wants something from me, and listen, that's great. Like I've earned the right to be in this position. I've worked hard, but like I don't want to just because I have it. I'm not giving it to everybody. I have every time someone's asked me for an interview. I remember one guy early on in NFT asked me for an interview. He's like, "Yeah, I write for entrepreneur.com and this and that." And it was like, it was early in NFT.
Red flag.
Yeah, I get those fucking 50 DMs a day. But like, he looked more legit. Maybe I was naive at the point. And he's like, yeah, well, we're going to get you on this. We'll write an interview. It'll all be on entrepreneur.com. And then at the end of the interview, he was like, so I have this really cool NFT project. Right? And then that took over the conversation. And then an email after was like, hey, thank you so much for the conversation. We're going to do some edits. By the way, I want to put this in front of you. Can you help me get it to Mark? And then I'm like, guess what?
He never
put out the interview. He never put out the interview. And I called him out. I said, bro, I know that you just had me go through all this time and effort and whatever. Come on your fucking interview, whatever it was. I know you're doing that because you want to get access to NFT through me. So I said, I don't know if you're going to be running that interview. I said, don't put it out. I said, I don't want to be used. If you literally just hit me up and say, hey, I'm working on something and I love your advice, I would have probably helped them.
Yeah, fucking hell. But I just don't get the short termism of society these days. I always put. What's that?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just don't want to forget my thought. The best is when someone does something for me. Like, let's say I have an issue with my Instagram account or whatever, something small.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like let me help you. I got you. Let's do it. And they help me, and like, oh, by the way, because I helped you, can you post this on NFT? Like, do you want to like be a good human being, or are you doing this? Are you trying to be good? And then you take it all away. Like, everything you've done good is gone now.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for the expectations of getting something free out of me, you lost me.
And that's a really good key point that you touched on there. Because when you give without expectation, it will change your fucking life.
Change your life. Just give. Pay it forward.
Just because, like I keep saying, right? This podcast, we don't have to go into figures of what I've put into putting all this together, getting the content edited, all that stuff. Wow. We don't have to go into that. But there's a cost. There's a cost associated with producing this podcast, right? And I give it away for free. And I'm trying to add as much value in people's lives as fucking possible. Now, as a byproduct of that, if we call that 100% value, as a byproduct of that, throughout my life, I probably will attract 1% of the value back into my life as a natural byproduct of giving 100% value. I don't have to fucking worry about selling you this fucking widget day one. Do you know what I mean? Because it comes with time. If you do it for the right reasons, it comes with time.
100%. Like if you hit me up after this, do a deal or whatever, some help. 100%. You're a good fucking dude. I can tell, right? You're not coming to me. You're building your podcast. You want good guests, whatever. And I happen to appeal to you. And I know it's not for the objective of, hey, can you post on NFT after? It's like
absolutely not.
You know what I mean? Like, and then it just sours it. Like I don't like just be a good person. Be you. Do the right thing. Good things happen to you. Like if I didn't fucking grind. I made not $1 for 5 years. And now I'm like, I'm partners with Mark Cuban. I'm doing all these amazing things. And people think I got lucky. It's like, yeah, I got lucky. I spoke to Mark and we hit it off. But it took me 5 years to get into a position to get lucky to talk to Mark. I didn't fucking say, hey, Mark, can you help me? And I need this from you. It's like, you just have to put yourself out there, be a good person, believe in what you do, and good things will happen to you. If you try to force it because you're trying to manipulate someone to get their attention or someone powerful and offer them value. Like I have people offering me free NFTs every day or free this. And then, oh, by the way, you got the NFT. Can you post on that NFT now? You know what I mean? It's like.
Do you know what you should do with that? Do you know what you should do with that?
Yeah.
Serious. I actually think this is actually a good point. I think you could set up a charity wallet, right? A charity NFT wallet, and just go, yeah, cool, send me your NFTs, send them to the charity wallet, and then sell them straight on OpenSea, right? and give the Ethereum to the charity of your choice. How about that?
Right, yeah,
Because that way,
dude, I get fucking like 20 NFTs a day.
Yeah,
I don't know who's sending them. I eat while it gets out there.
But
and then what they do? You know what they do? They post their project. Go, oh, the co-founder of NFT owns one of our NFTs. I didn't even know I owned it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I know your NFT wallet details. I'm not going to tell anyone on this podcast, but I do know. I do know your NFT wallet handle. So, and it is quite a distinctive handle that you could send it to. So it's kind of like if it's the one I'm thinking of. But
one?
Yeah, we can't. We're not going into the wallet details. But what I'm saying is, like, it wouldn't be hard to understand what wallet your wallet was, and then send you one. But I'm just saying, like, even if they did, you could just take them into a charity wallet, and then sell them all, and then give them all. And there's two reasons for that. One, we're making money for charity for free, and two, the project that gave you the NFT still gets some exposure that they wanted in the first place because their NFT's been sold for charity. So it ticks their ego boost, and it does something for someone else, and like that's the only win-win conversation I reckon that can be got out of that.
Yeah, to be honest, I've never, if you can believe, I've never sold a single NFT in my life. I buy every day to support the community. I don't even know what I'm buying. I just buy randoms.
You just buy things that you like. Before we go into,
I've never sold an NFT.
Before we go into NFTs, because I really want to go into depth with you on NFTs, because obviously this lights me up, but it was important for me before we went into NFTs. I just wanted people to understand where you've come from, what you've been through, and you kind of how you look at the world. Because I knew from getting on with you straight away on the DMs on Instagram and voice noting and stuff, I knew that we were on a similar type of path in terms of like value and all this stuff, and how you've. And I just want people to understand as well how long you went without money before you started to become in the position you've got, because everyone thinks it's fucking instant, and everyone would just think, he's hooked up with Mark Cuban and Mark Cuban's giving him the world. And it's not like that at all. So I wanted people to get that.
Art makes it even harder.
Yeah, exactly. But before we go, just so that so that everyone's abundantly clear on this, and I think you're the best man to explain this, right, Jace?
Sure.
For the people at home that don't know what an NFT is, that have no fucking clue what a non-fungible token is, can you explain to them in the best way that you know how what a non-fungible token is and what value it brings to the world?
I would say the way I would explain it, an NFT being kind of like a digital letter of authenticity. So what an NFT does, it clarifies that this is in fact what you're buying. If you go buy a Picasso right now, right?
Yep.
Physical Picasso or fucking any piece of art, right?
Yeah.
You don't know for sure if that's real. You have no clue if that is exactly what someone's paying you. You got to authenticate via provenance. The beauty of NFT, it takes away my word versus your word.
Yeah.
If this is an NFT, this is what it is, right? And that's the beauty of blockchain. Every transaction is recorded. Every aspect of the NFT you can trace back to the minute someone minted it originally, right? So, NFTs right now are big in the digital art space. I don't think it's going to be like that forever. I think it's going to change. But if in the context of digital art, it's giving millions of people an opportunity to become an artist.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to become an artist, famous artist, a successful artist in the real world.
Yeah.
You have to be hard it is to get your art out there, a piece of physical art. Now you can, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're rich, poor, female, male, disabled, etc., whatever it is. You have an opportunity to express yourself through digital art, and anyone can do it now. If you're dedicated, you can do well. So I would say how I would explain NFT is just it's just taking the challenging world of life and bringing it into an environment where everyone has an opportunity to create something and own it. It's like I own If I mint this NFT from my OpenSea account, it is mine, right? It's not like I do something and try to sell it and I move a zillion hands. There's no complications. But beyond that, think about things in life where people take advantage, like tickets to a concert.
Yep.
If every ticket was an NFT, there's no question. You're getting in that door, right? It's not like, oh, this is fake or I bought it from a scalper. But take a next level deeper. Think about like the presidential campaign voting ballots. Think about how much controversy was it with Trump and fucking George Bush, and there was always something, right? If everyone voted in the form of an NFT,
there's no argument.
How much money Trump has to manipulate the world? You can't.
Yeah,
it's almost.
And there's obviously contracts, guys, written into the back of these NFTs that smart contracts are written into the back of these NFTs that allow certain things to happen. And one of the things that is great, I mean, let's talk about it in digital art just for the moment. Most of you probably know, you'll see these people that change their profile photos on Instagram, and you might have seen things like, CryptoPunks and Apes, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and all these kind of big projects, and they're selling for millions and millions of dollars. And when you obviously buy one of these, inside the smart contract, you can obviously there might be a 10% royalty to the artist or to the project. There might be a 2% clip back to OpenSea, all built into the smart contracts within the piece.
That's game changing. Yeah,
absolute game.
The perpetuity aspect, the secondary percentage is game changing.
Yep.
Look at Beeple.
Yep.
Beeple sold his piece for $69 million.
Yep.
Which blew up the industry. That piece was not $69 million originally, right? Someone bought it for nothing.
0.8 or something. Yeah, 0.8 Ethereum or something.
Was it?
No, I'm saying they probably bought it for like 0.8 Ethereum or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe like 1 or 2 ETH. Yeah.
A CryptoPunk just sold for $500 million, $533 million. It was bought for 4 ETH, I think, or $4,000 or something like that. Like, that's opening the world up.
Yeah,
Same as a .com. Like when the .com boom happened, it gave people platforms to just start their business. And you need to have a brick and mortar site. This is our next generation, our generation's version of that. The .com boom. Everyone has a chance to just become something in NFTs.
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
And what a lot of people say to me, Frankie, why did you spend 4.5 Ethereum on a World of Women NFT? I'm like, okay, let me break it down for you. One, it's a high rarity version of this World of Women collection that I've bought. Two, it was one of the first female collections that's been bought.
By the way, females do not get enough attention in this game.
Right. Females in the NFT space are they're very rare projects, and this project was one of the first, I believe, to be a female project. Right. The art's good because it has a certain type of necklace on my NFT. I get a 10 or 20% with another 50 owners that have the same trait. 10% of royalties back from the secondary market. So now I've got a piece of art that not only is aesthetically pleasing, that I think will appreciate in value, but now pays me a revenue for owning the piece of art. Right? And if you understand what I've just fucking said there, guys, you'll see why I'm so fucking bullish on this space and why I'm so things. Now, the thing that I think that you can probably go into more, Jace, is like, I think that people miss the intellectual property point of this play. Like, for argument's sake, because I own that World of Women NFT, let's just use this one as an example. When someone wants to put that on a fucking t-shirt at some point in time, or put it in an art gallery in the metaverse, in their art gallery because they want to display it in the metaverse, or put it in a physical gallery in the real world, someone's going to have to pay me for the rights to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's when things get really interesting. Also, say that piece of art as well, Jace, say that got to a 200 Ethereum value. There's also things like fractional selling of NFTs now, which I want you to go into as well. But let me know if I'm going down the wrong lines of any of that. I mean, what what's your thoughts on what I'm saying there? Like, just break it down from your point of view, because I just want you to really break down the different routes of ownership and what those can give to people in terms of, like, you're not just buying that piece of art for the art's value. You can create revenue with this thing as well.
Oh yeah, you own it, right? I think. Okay, back to like the floor of this.
Yeah.
If I'm an artist and I'm selling my NFT and I maintain a 10% royalty on it for life, in perpetuity, this artist will have and maintain a percentage of his art. He never loses his soul in that piece. It stays in there, right?
Yeah.
When an artist creates a piece of painting and he sells it, it's gone, right?
Yeah.
So the artist maintains ownership of his creation, as he should, right?
Yeah.
That's his creation. He deserves the royalties off of that. Like, whoever created whatever product and got a patent on it and they're making royalties on it for life, like, they created that. They figured that out. It's the same thing with art. This came from your brain, right? And that should always be associated back to you. And I think it's a beautiful thing. The perpetuity is like game changing. I think that's the most underrated thing about NFTs that people don't talk about enough. Back to Beeple. Like, maybe he sold his painting for $1,000. Well, someone bought that for $1,000 and sold it for $10,000, and he made, let's call it 10%. He made $1,000 again, right?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, if he blows up, and that piece of art is worth so much,
yeah,
no one's taking advantage of the fact that they got it when he was a nobody, right?
Yeah.
So when that sells for $1 million, he just made $100,000. Right? When that sells for $69 million, he made $690,000, right? And he deserves to own a piece of his creation for life. When that $69 million piece sells, he's still there. Even if it sells for less, still gets a slice of that thing. So I think that's a game changing. Fractionalizing just gives other, like, I look at it fractionalizing like Bitcoin. People think Bitcoin's at like 60,000 plus right now.
Yeah.
People think they have to buy a full Bitcoin to have a Bitcoin. No, you don't need a full Bitcoin. You buy $1 of a Bitcoin, a fraction of it. It's more about, like, everything's community based.
100%.
It's about, like, people want to support the community.
100%.
And fractionalizing support allows everyone to, benefit. Benefit from a piece of art that's blowing up. Another direction, which, I mean, maybe it's a little bit off topic of your question, but
no, go for it.
How NFTs will evolve right now is just like a JPEG, whatever, right?
Yeah,
it's
that is the basic level of it, but this goes way beyond the JPEG.
So, like, my kids are 2, right? My oldest twins. When they're 25 or whatever, and they're buying a house, they will never, ever buy a piece of physical art. When they build their house, there'll be an indent in their walls with a slim screen that fits on the wall like it's a painting, and they'll display their NFTs there. And maybe, depending who's coming over that day, they'll change it or they'll rotate it, right? Or like, oh, it's just a JPEG. I could just screenshot it. You know what I mean? It's so much deeper than that. And I think that's where people don't see the opportunity. They think, oh, why are people spending so many millions of dollars on JPEGs? This is art as pure its form. Like, the owner of this art maintains every aspect of that piece. Like, I can go in someone's house and they have a fucking whatever art on the wall. I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know what the story is behind that. I know that I can trace that piece of art. If it's an NFT, I don't care if it's traded 1 million times, I can trace it back to the first fucking person I'm in today.
Yeah.
And that's the decentralization of this shit is what it's giving. That's why the governments and the banks are so afraid of crypto. It's giving people the power they deserve. Like, it's giving people control back of their money, their art,
and how you move it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so many ways that we can go with this, but just the amount of things that you can do with an NFT Like if you're a music recording artist now, or a sports person, it's so amazing. Like even if you're a young woman listening to this, or man for that instance, that's trading their own art and selling their own art on Etsy, right? I wouldn't be doing that anymore. I'd be selling NFTs I'll be selling NFTs. 100%. I'd be selling that. If you've taken the time to create that art and put it on Etsy and sell it for $200-$300, you can just NFT and sell it and then if you sell it for like 0.08 Ethereum as a floor price, and then it gets sold for 1 Ethereum, and you've got a 10% royalty on it. That's another point. Point one, and it's just a game changer.
Think about it. Everything in our lives has gone digital.
Yeah,
money's going digital now. Bitcoin, crypto, whatever, Ethereum. Everything's going digital. That's just how the world is. It makes the world more efficient. This is going to stay and just get bigger. Maybe no one's going to be buying JPEGs for fucking $500 million anymore, whatever. Yeah. But the essence of what we're dealing with is going to change the fucking world. It is giving everyone a fair shot at life. It is game changing. And until people see the fact that this is beyond just a piece of art, they're going to miss the boat, just like they did with the .com boom. They're going to miss the boat. Every dollar I own is in crypto.
Every dollar, literally. Every
dollar. Other than what I need to put in my bank to pay my mortgages and shit, every fucking dollar is in crypto. That's how much I believe in this.
And do you hold most of that in like stable coins or Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yeah.
But I also have like 150 wallets. I'm constantly, because again, I'm a target constantly.
Yeah, of course. Like you have to, you can't be in your position.
Nothing's in my name even. Like I not in my name, but like I don't hold anything personally. It's a dangerous game right now. It's a little scary for people like me being, so public in this space and get hacked regularly. But anyways, that's a totally different conversation. But yeah, I believe in it. I'll tell you why I also really believe in it. And this is a tip for you. When I do business, like especially in the social game, like I'm a lot of times dealing with like 18-year-old kids. They don't have bank accounts. If you don't pay them in Bitcoin or Ethereum, you don't do business with them. Okay. That's the future, bro. Who's the next iteration of fucking people? The 18-year-old kids. They're gonna be the 30 one day, and then that they're just ingrained in crypto.
Yeah. Ever since I bought my first piece of Bitcoin, honestly, as soon as you buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can't go backwards. You can't go backwards.
You always want another one, It's like you can't go backwards.
And I'm telling you straight, Jace, right? I sold out some Bitcoin for some Ethereum and some Cardano, and to move a bit of money about and to do a bit of marketing I was doing at the time. But I'm telling you now, right? I'm never selling any Bitcoin again. Ever. No.
Don't you dare ever sell your fucking Bitcoin. There's 21 million Bitcoin out there.
The worst decision of my fucking life. Don't get me wrong. I've
done it too, bro.
I know, but I'm just telling. Jason, I'm telling everyone so that they can listen to what I'm saying and know that fuck it. Like, look. I'm just telling you straight down the line. Never ever sell Bitcoin and buy it every day, every week that you can. Dollar cost average into it.
Yeah, even today, bro, it's 60 plus, 1,000 plus.
Mate,
it feels like it's a lot because you're at 10,000, but when it's 100,000 or 200,000 or a million, you're gonna feel fucking dummy and buy it at 60,000.
What do you think Bitcoin goes to?
I think this is my theory of it. I think it's gonna go up, gonna go down. It's always gonna have the volatility. If you're a holder, it doesn't matter if it goes down or goes up, because eventually it balances out. I think within 5 years, I think it's at $1 million plus a coin. I'm gonna hold everything. That's it. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years.
So you're not selling any crypto?
Nothing. I don't sell NFTs. I don't sell crypto. I've made mistakes in the past and sold Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Fucking telling me.
Like a fucking idiot.
Mm.
But it's okay. That's part of the process.
I've cost myself in excess of seven figures in gains by moving in and out of projects, thinking that I can fucking time the market and thinking that I'm this fucking wizard that knows everything. And the simple thing is, if you want to get wealthy,
that's the beauty of crypto.
If you want to get wealthy, though, Jace, there's a simple route to this. If someone's out there and they want to get wealthy, it's just take as much money you can every week and just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I'm telling you now, in fucking 5 years' time, you ain't got no problem. Oh. And people don't like that because they're like, oh yeah, but I can buy H bar, and H bar could be the next. Yeah, it could be, but why not back two proven fucking racehorses with use cases and just let them ride? Do you know what I mean?
Dude, let them do what they do. You know that right now, 1 million people a day are registering a crypto account.
Yeah,
you think this is going anywhere? This is the greatest thing that's happened in our lifetime, and maybe the greatest thing that happens in the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But what Bitcoin? I'm going to say Bitcoin because Bitcoin was kind of, I would say, the pioneer of all of this. Bitcoin has changed everything. It has turned banks, governments upside down. It has it's given freedom to across the planet. Think about how many people in these third world countries that cannot get a bank account. They get Bitcoin. They can trade that. Like I spent Bitcoin, a large amount of money for like $8 across the world. That is insane. What type of freedom that has? It is the most game-changing thing in the last fucking 100 years. This is bigger than fucking TV inventions or phones. This is what crypto is going to do to the world is insane. Oh.
When was it you first stumbled across NFTs specifically? And how did you find it?
I give all credit to Mark Cuban because he got me into the game. I want to say about around February, he said, we're going all, get ready, we're going all in on this NFT stuff. I'm like, the fuck is NFT? I wasn't even in crypto. I was not a crypto guy. No. I'm like a newbie in overall in comparison to when crypto was started, right?
Fuck, I've been in crypto longer than you.
Oh, you have. Dude, you have. The first, I dabbled with Bitcoin in 2020 here, but nothing crazy. The first investment I made in crypto and Bitcoin, it was so funny. The first large one I made was the day before Elon Musk tweeted. Remember back in
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Mentally. And I'm like, I just bought at 55,000. It's fucking 29,000. I was freaking out, but I just dollar cost average. I stuck with the game, and it worked out. But back to NFTs, just to answer your question, Mark said that, right? The last time Mark said he's going all in on something, he put $1 billion into Amazon. So I'm like, all right, this guy obviously knows what he's fucking talking about. He's Mark Cuban. So I managed to get that NFT handle, and the rest is history. It just changed my life. It's changed. It has opened the doors to such opportunities for me that I can never. I'm so indebted to Mark Cuban. Yeah. And him and our, we're tight. We talk a lot. He's big in the NFT space, right? So, he's very supportive. He's there when I need him. And he's just a great fucking human. But I owe everything to that man in NFT, without a doubt. That's why Mark got me in before it exploded. Just before.
And here's the thing that I need all of you to fucking listen to in what Jason just said there. The reason why Jason was presented with the opportunity and the gift of like being shown this is the way we're going, because this is, and the insight into that. The reason why Jason got that is because of his relationship he built with a person, predicated on not trying to just clip the ticket all the time.
And it took me years to be in a position where he took my call or my email, right? Had I not done all that shit for years of struggle and depression and downtimes and fear, had I not fought through that, Mark would never have even listened to me. I remember 10 years ago, talk about law of attraction and believing it. I remember 10 fucking years ago watching Dragon's Den, or Dragon's Den is the Canadian version, Shark Tank.
Dragon's Den in the UK too.
In the UK, yeah. I was literally watching it, and I was no clue what I wanted to do in my life. It was before I met Holyfield and all that. I saw Mark speak and the confidence he had, and like, he's Jewish and I'm Jewish. And I'm thinking to myself, he started with nothing. Like, I'm in a challenging position. I thought to myself, I want to work with that fucking guy one day. I want to work with that guy one day. 10 years later, he bought half of my company. It's crazy, man. I'm a fucking same schmuck on my couch, my parents' basement, like every other fucking kid was, wishing and praying. But I did it. I just said, okay, this is a goal of mine. And it came fucking true. Now, everything in life, I don't question at all.
Yeah. Do you have anything like in regards to like vision boards, or do you do anything around that, or do you like write down your goals in a journal? Or how do you law of attraction I believe in wholeheartedly, but how are you taking action to attract these things into your life?
What I do every morning when I wake up and every night I go to bed, I say 3 things I'm grateful for. Every morning, I open my eyes, and I set a notification on my calendar. Every night, every single morning, every single night, and it's such a simple thing. And sometimes there are 3 in-depth, very deep in-depth things. Sometimes they're just like, oh, thankfully I'm happy or healthy, right? And then just made me appreciate everything I have. And then the whole mindset changes, right? You are grateful that you're healthy, that you have healthy families. You're grateful that you met your wife, right? And once everything, even the small things become something that you're grateful for, then you kind of take that same mentality and utilize it in the rest of your life. It's more about just training your brain to like, think positively and think in a direction of like happiness and healthy and success, and even when I was down and I had nothing, I was like, oh, this is what I really want to do, and I believe in it. I got to stay positive. I got to stay believing in myself and confidence, and don't worry about all the things that people have said about you in the past. You can't do this, can't do that. This is your life, and I just committed to just I wanted the best life that I can have. Like, it's fucking life.
I get it completely. You've just gone all in on yourself, which is exactly how it should be for a lot of people.
You're gonna bet on anyone, bet on your fucking self. Yeah. That's in your.
This is why I don't understand sometimes, and it took me. It's like if you're going to invest in something, invest in yourself, because
exactly.
at least when
you fail, it's on you.
Yeah. You can't ever fail when you invest on yourself, because I'll give you an example. You could learn how to build a Shopify store, and then you could not use it for 3 years, but those skills that you learned 3 years ago could then end up being the skills that, do something for you. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day,
you're going to get fucked. Even when someone rips you off, whatever it is.
Yeah. You're learning. Yeah. Fuck yeah. You learn from every conversation you have, if you're willing to listen and observe, and you can pick up so much from just being, like you say, grateful for being in the position you're in and being open to experience all these things. But in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to give yourself the freedom of thought to think it, which goes back to what we were talking about before, which is like, all this self-judgment that people do, all this self-doubt, fuck it off, because
social media doesn't make it any better because everyone's fucking comparing themselves to everyone else, and it's all fucking smoke and mirrors and bullshit. A lot of it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and that brings people's confidence down. Like, oh well, I'm not, I haven't edited my pictures as much as the next person, or you know what I mean? Like, it just kills people's confidence. It's not right.
So you see your social media. I mean, you're not as obviously highly followed as your other big social accounts on your personal account, but you've got some of the biggest pages on social media in terms of like in the sporting world. Obviously, at NFT. I think you got at Leverage as well. That's correct, isn't it?
So Leverage is my company with Mark.
Yeah.
I would say NBA memes being the biggest. It's got 4 million plus followers. We have tens of millions across all the social, but the way Mark and I connected was through NBA memes and our love for basketball and social media.
Yeah.
And how we connected was so authentic too. Like, it wasn't like I was trying to sell him, or we just happened to have similar interests. So I would say NBA memes being our flagship account, but NFT is just taking a life of its own.
Yeah.
NFT is taking a life of its own. It is so big. And again, I'm going to list to Mark because early on in NFTs, we had opportunities to work with everybody, every celebrity out there under the sun. Because typically when these celebrities are seeing their friends making millions in seconds, they don't know where to start. They go to Instagram or whatever. They type in NFT. They see those 3 letters, they see the blue check mark, and they see Mark Cuban's name, and they want to work with us. And Mark said, I don't care how many millions are on the table, do not take it. Build your community, build the trust, give back to the community. Because if you're taking those cash grabs, he's like, these are all going to be cash grabs. Once it's all done, the dust will settle, and you'll be the biggest community in the space. And we are. And we turn down life-changing money, but now it's all paying off.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, because you got long-term games, long-term people. How I've been telling everyone to operate for a while now. Like, in terms of like how you now monetize NFTs from a business standpoint, is that just like through your email list and through your website and through doing collabs with partnership deals and all this kind of stuff? Is that how you've kind of monetizing it from a business standpoint now?
Well, I'll tell you, we get about 1,000 DMs a day on that NFT. I get about half of that on my personal account at JF on Instagram, and I would say the opportunities are too much. So we can't even, no matter how quick we scale, we can't do deals quick enough. Like we just did Wiz Khalifa's drop, sold out. We're doing Little Baby's drop. We did Floyd Mayweather's drop. We did World Star or 2 Chainz. Like we've done a lot of interesting people's drops, but yeah, I think at this stage it's just we've created a reputation, and everyone knows. Like, I see almost every deal that goes to NFT comes through me at some capacity.
Yeah, because you want to make sure it's aligned.
Yeah, and I would say from a social perspective, from marketing social, I would say we pioneered that game. There was no presence on social media until at NFT came along. Until Mark said, "Let's go," and that's put us in a position where we control a narrative almost, and we just try to give the information that's as relevant to the space. And because we're in that position, everybody wants to work with us. Everybody that does an NFT wants to work with us. And it's a beautiful thing. We can't do everyone. We can't do everyone's drop. Yeah. We can't work with every platform.
I've noticed that in podcasting as well. As you start to build yourself up as as people start to understand, fucking this podcast is a real deal. People start to try and invite themselves onto your podcast because they're like that. It's the same way that you're doing deals. But the way I said I'd operate it from day one, and the way that you're operating it is similar. I basically like unless I want to have the genuine conversation with the person, then I'm not having them on, regardless.
Yeah, because if you don't connect with someone, what the fuck you wasting an hour of your life? Because that's an hour of your life that you'll never get back, bro.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like that. I see a lot of podcasts out there, and sometimes I listen, and I'm like, fuck, this person's not even interested in being it. Like, what is the point? It's too.
No fucking point.
It's too. So what you just said there fully resonated.
Sorry.
What you said there just fully resonated, because like I was like, fuck, it's just exactly the same way I've operated with this from day one. It's like,
I'll tell you right now, this has been the best podcast I've been on in my life. And I don't do a lot, so I was going to say that much, Frankie.
Yeah, he's only done 2.
One of 2,
he's
bro.
killed me,
One
man.
of 2. I've actually done 2 others in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I try not to be on these things, to be
No,
honest.
I know. I had to spy you in the DMs to get you on here.
You did.
Yeah.
You're very persistent. But I gotta say, this has been one of the best podcasts I've been on, and one of the best interviews I've actually done, because it's real as fuck,
It's just real
being
shit.
Real. Nothing wrong with being real. Like, I can go and have a fucking beer with you and just have the same conversation.
Yeah, obviously I'll be drinking sparkling water and I'll buy you a beer.
Exactly.
but no judgment. Like it just flows, man. But this
judgment.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I fucking love this shit, like more than I could ever put into words.
I can tell the passion.
And it's like, mate, just being able to be in conversations with people like yourself, distilling NFTs on the world, and the kind of the fundamentals behind it that people perhaps haven't got yet. Obviously, understanding how you've built these businesses, and the key thing here, right, about this podcast is, everyone's expecting me to get on this podcast and just talk to you solidly about NFTs, and again, I want to dive a little bit further into that. But the key, I want people to understand your mindset of how you've engineered and created the opportunity to work with Mark on a level, how you've then curated this social presence that you've got, and then also your mindset on how you operate as a human being in terms of like what you will and won't accept in your life. That is the most powerful shit for the audience, in my opinion, because look, I want you to all you guys that listen to this to go and follow at NFT on Instagram and at JF, because I think that's where you're gonna get the most juice out of seeing what NFTs are dropping. But if you were gonna, Jace, if you were gonna like give people advice in terms of like, okay, now I'm interested in NFTs. First of all, where is the best place for them to go and submerge themselves, other than your account, to learn more about the space? So that because there's not, we could do 2 hours solidly just talking about NFTs on here and we wouldn't cover it.
I'm sure. I'm just moving locations. Keep going. Yeah,
so I just want you to like, tell people where they can go and get more.
To go?
Yeah, the best place to go.
There's 2 platforms I love. OpenSea, great platform. I'm just moving locations. Great platform. They definitely have taken over the market. I would say more like the general, like the eBay of the industry. I would say the better place for higher end IP and quality is a platform called Eternity, which I'm a big fan of. I'm very close with the founder of that, Nick Rose. Great people. They do drops for like, the Muhammad Ali estate and, Shaquille O'Neal, Marilyn Monroe. Like they're just great at what they do. But those are definitely the two biggest platforms that I would recommend if you're just trying to get into the game. Sorry, I'm just getting a charger right now. But yeah, I would highly recommend those 2 as a starting point.
If you had some words of advice for people, obviously, that are new to this game, they want to start looking at NFTs, they may want to purchase some NFTs with some of their Ethereum that they've bought, what would be like the key things that you told them to look for in a good project?
In a good NFT?
Yeah.
That's a great question, actually. So I would say, first and foremost, the art. The art has to be quality, and the roadmap of an NFT. So is there more to the project than just the art?
Yeah.
And just the group trying to make money?
Yep.
What type of utility comes with these NFTs? If you see, I'm sure you've seen a lot of these 10,000 drop profile avatar type projects.
Yep.
There's a lot of them, and they're frequently coming, and there's a lot of opportunity to make money and collect those arts. But there's also a lot of them that will promise certain things. If you own an NFT, you get access to a club in Metaverse or whatever the case is. So that aspect of it needs to, like, if you don't feel like they put the effort beyond just the art, then I would steer clear.
Yeah,
yeah. And I think people can see the difference in quality of art at this point too.
Yeah, I think the key things, Jace, are quality of art. First and foremost, you've got to buy things that you actually like yourself and that you'd hold on to.
That's it.
Because if you don't like it, how would you resell it? Like, think about that for one. Like, how would you resell something if you don't actually like it yourself? So you can't just be buying it for money. The second thing I say is,
you buy for money. Yeah.
The second thing I'd say, from my personal opinion, and I don't know whether you agree with this, Jace, right? But unless I'm buying a blue chip, aka a crypto punk or a proven project in the top 20, a proven project or a V-Friend or a Bored Ape Yacht Club or something like that. Unless I'm buying one of those real blue chips, I'm buying mints. I'm not buying on the pumps, right?
Next big thing.
What's that? Sorry.
Everybody wants to catch the next big thing, next ape.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm on that. I'm on the same train.
Yeah, I just think for these people that are starting, if you've got one Ethereum, I would just do your research into like top projects with utility, and then when you've done your research into the top projects with the utility and you believe in them, if you find 10, you find 20, I would mint. I'd mint those on the white. I'd get on the whitelist through the Discord group, and I'd mint those. And and then if you've done your research and you've done what Jason said to you just then, which is look for more utility behind the artwork that you like, and you're minting them for the lowest possible price that you can mint them for, you probably will most definitely make money out of NFTs. But if you do what I did in the initial period, when I came into NFTs, I bought on OpenSea, and I was buying all kinds of different stupid shit, basically. Yeah, I liked it, but I thought, oh yeah, this looks good. This looks like a CryptoPunk. I'll buy that. This looks like a Bored Ape. I'll buy that. Do you know what I mean? And now I've got now World of Women was the first project. World of Women, Ape Gang, and a couple of other. What was the other project? Wicked Apes were the first projects that I invested in where I actually did a little bit more. I'd already lost an Ethereum at this point, just by being a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be honest with you, bro. Like, I lost one ETH just being a fucking retard, just going and buying anything and everything that, just because I was so passionate about the space. But you have to be willing to, don't listen to this podcast and then go away and start going and buying NFTs. Go and join all the Discords, go and see the product utility and really understand what Jason's just said there, because it's so powerful, man. So powerful. So, Jay, I reckon the next thing that we touch upon is obviously where you think the space ultimately goes that most people are missing, because I think you can give us a bit more of an insight into, like, you know, where the future of NFTs goes, way beyond what anyone's even thinking about right now, like really in depth right now.
Deep. I think the music industry is going to be disrupted like crazy, and the movie business, and IP. Like, you're going to see Marvel doing NFTs. You're going to see like big brands who have like great historic characters, like, you know, Donald Duck. You'll see those being put out there as NFTs. But back to the music industry, like, especially a lot of these rappers, they're huge, and they probably make 10 to 20% on every dollar that comes in on their music. And the labels make the most. They give the musicians a fat advance, $1 million, whatever, crazy money for them at the time. But the studios and the record labels are just making millions off these, you know, off the talent of these artists. So, I mean, I saw Tory Lanez dabble into that and you know, start selling his NFTs, started selling his music as NFTs. But I think once it gets a little bit more organized, you'll see a lot more independent artists, and it actually gives them a platform to become famous on their own, to get their music out there and control their music. They don't need to wait for the man at top of the executive at a studio to say you're good enough. Here's $1 million check to get started, and then we're going to take back every dollar plus 20% for the rest of your life, right? So I think once these artists realize that they have the platform, they have the following, they have the communities, people are buying their music for them, not the label, right?
Yeah,
so once
yeah.
realize that they have the power, you're going to see so many people putting out albums, putting out movies, because even like Brad Pitt, for example, people aren't going to see a movie for the studio. They're going to see Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Maybe he's making a nice $10, $20 million check, but the studios are making hundreds of millions off his back, right? And I don't think that should be the case. So I see those two industries, especially people of power, like a celebrity at that level, to take it back. No, you'll get 20% of my revenue, not me keep 20% of my revenue, right?
Yeah.
It's going to flip.
Yeah.
That's where I see where NFTs will come in big.
I agree with you totally. I think it would change the podcasting game as well. I really do. I don't know how yet. I haven't figured it, and I have no idea. But I've just got a feeling that I've got a feeling I'm going to do something within NFTs, like within the podcasting game, but not now. I'm talking about what.
I've never heard anyone, like at least me, talking about the NFT synergy with podcasts. So maybe you're onto something.
No, I've got. It's something. I don't think it's now. I think it's in the future. But I know there's something there, because it's like there just has to be, because I think what I'd like to do in the future with this podcast is get people like yourselves, and other guests that I've had onto like live shows and do live shows in front of the people that have listened to you on the podcasts, and they get to spend a bit of time with you, and the way that I might sell a ticket for that might be an NFT. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
They can sell an NFT and enjoy the show and make money after.
Yeah.
It might be a content even, right?
Yeah,
buy an NFT, there's utility to it. There's value to it. It's an exclusive content ticket. You can sell that and make money even after you saw the show.
Yeah. I even thought, right, a lot of people that listen to podcasts hate ads, and I don't run ads on no podcasts, because I'd rather shoot myself in the head than read an ad out on the podcast, right? I'm just being honest with you, Jace.
I feel you, bro. I'm with you on that, bro.
It's not, mate. I can't lean into something that's not me, mate. I can't say, hey, buy the latest NFT from NFT.com.
You're real, bro. You're real.
You got to know who you are, and you got to stand up to that. So I thought to myself. So I thought to myself, well, people don't want ads on the podcast. That's cool, but say the community of the podcast might want to buy an NFT that gives them access to a live show a year, 15-minute conversation with me a year as a mentoring thing, or one like, do you know what I mean? There's loads of different things you can add into an NFT. And it's just, this is why the space has blown my fucking mind wide open, and why I love it so much is because it's an NFT in essence is open to your perception, and you can contract and smart contract into it whatever you so desire, and serve that to your audience. How big a project do you think Gary Vaynerchuk's VeeFriends are going to be?
I think Gary's going to be massive. The way he speaks, he really believes in what he's talking about. And I say the same thing about Mark. Guys like Mark and Gary, they have enough money. They don't need to trick anybody. They genuinely, if they're speaking about something, they fucking love it and they believe it.
Yeah.
And Gary certainly believes in what he's doing. And he's not the type of guy to say invest in VeeFriends and I'll fuck off in a year and retire on my end. Like he's the type of guy that what he commits to, he fulfills. So I'm not a buyer of it. Not because I didn't. I just missed the boat. Not that I can't buy. Maybe I will. But I think that a guy like Gary, especially with podcast background, and his presence and the way he has great foresight on social media.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy like Mark who's just like, they're just so ahead of all of us. Why? I don't fucking know. They just have a gift.
Yeah.
Whatever they touch somehow turns to gold.
Yeah, no.
They say they're going to go all in on NFT, they're going to go all in on NFT.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So I missed out on the first drop of the VFriends too, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And rather than judging myself thinking that was the biggest mistake of my life, Gary posted on his story one day saying, "Hey, I'm releasing this new book, 12 and a half. For everybody that buys 12 copies, every 12 copies you buy, I'm going to be sending you something to your wallet address." Right? So I was like, right, fuck. So I just fucking, I bought 12 books, and in hindsight, I actually wish.
He got you.
In hindsight, I wish I'd bought probably 120. But anyway, in December, he'll send out an NFT gift. I guarantee you, the NFT that he sends me in December is worth way more than the $300 that I've invested in books. That I'm gonna actually give these books to the podcast listeners and do giveaways with them anyway. So I'm going to do good with the books anyway, and the books, the books. So it's a win-win-win basically. And that's I think there's a massive NFT space for authors, artists. The whole game's just absolutely changed, and people still think we're just talking about fucking JPEGs. And I'm like, bro, do you not understand what the game is here? The game's just flipped. And that's why Jace, like, massively, just again, mate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, man. Like,
I fucking love you, bro. You're real as fuck. You're just a great dude. I really hope that we have a chance to meet and
we're gonna meet. I'm gonna talk you into like inviting me around the house. We're gonna like you'll probably talk me into smoking a joint. So like,
yeah, I told you your first joint's gonna be with me.
but before we do let you get back to your family and your Friday night. But before we do that, if there's one piece of advice, pearl of wisdom, like if you had to depart the world today and had to leave one pearl of wisdom that on the planet that is the only thing that you can leave behind, is this one piece of advice? What piece of advice would you leave the world today?
I actually know what that is because it's something I've been preaching a lot. Don't change. People change when they get more money or they get this or that. But as quick as you can earn that money, you can lose it.
Yeah.
Be you. Don't change. I see so many people around me, they get successful, whatever the case is, and they think they're better than you, or they think they deserve this and deserve that, or they don't need to wait in line, or whatever the case is. We're just people, man. Money is just a means. Just don't change. Be you. You don't forget who you are. That's what I would say. Don't forget who you are.
Yeah, I love that because we all need reminding of it, like, and reminding of it every day as well. Like, and even if you have to write that on your mirror in fucking whiteboard mark, I don't care what you do, but like just kind of sit with that and sit with it. But
Frankie, every morning you wake up,
it's a blessing.
If you say 3 things you're grateful for, and every night before you bed, you say 3 things you're grateful for, you'll see how appreciative you are for the show on your back, even.
Yeah. We are so fucking lucky.
Fucking lucky.
We are so fucking lucky.
You appreciate how lucky you are when, like, you see a plane crash. Oh my God, 150 people are dead. Thank God I feel, my family's safe. Then you forget about it. But if you remind yourself every day how fucking lucky you are, your whole life will change.
Fucking hell. So, mate, honestly,
you won't think about what you don't have anymore, right?
Yeah.
You think about what you do have.
Well, the one thing that resonates with me from that is I think about the time that you can want all these materialistic things in your life, right? I mean, you have enough money now to buy whatever you so desire and all that stuff, which is great. But when you're in hospital and you're laying on your back and you need to have an operation, the only thing that you want in that moment isn't the pair of Gucci shoes on your feet. It's your health, right? Yeah. So take that fucking health. Don't take it for granted. Live every moment. You know, if you don't like your job, change it. If you don't like the way that you turn up to the world, change it. If you got to sit with yourself and identify the triggers that keep fucking going on in your head, do it. Listen to this fucking podcast twice, because yes, I had Jason on here to talk about NFTs, and I love NFTs too, right? I fucking massively bullish on NFTs, and yes, I had him on here to talk about NFTs, but the real juice in this podcast isn't about the NFTs. It's about the mindset and the lessons that got Jason into the position to be able to partner with the people he's partnered with, to be able to do the deals that he's done, and to build the relationships that he's built. And if you listen to those learnings that he's distilled through this, you will fucking get exactly what I need you to get from this podcast, irrespective of whether you go and buy an NFT or not. And that's all I have to say on it, man. And I just follow Jace on Instagram at JF. Follow his NFT page at NFT, and his overarching business is at Leverage. And Jace, mate, again, fucking, I know you don't do these, and I fucking appreciate your time, bruv. And I hope, mate, I hope that's the best podcast that you ever do in your entire fucking life.
Without a doubt, without a fucking doubt, you're a real one, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
It was fantastic. Even though I'm missing dinner with my kids, it was fantastic.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And guys, do us a favor. Send Jace a message. Send me a message on Instagram, letting him know about the podcast. He'll get through it, or his PA will get through it with one of his thousands DMs. But I want you guys to let him know what you thought and what you've got out of this podcast, because I want to give you some feedback. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's going in his DMs trying to sell him a fucking NFT project. It'd be nice to actually him to get some DMs of some people.
Real, just like be you, man.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say is, like, I'm not better than you.
Yeah.
Or anyone else DM me. I'm just me. I just found who I was, right? Just find who you are. And just, like, if you're in that dead-end job, just fucking leave. There's always an answer. There's always a way. I don't care what anyone says. There's always a way. So I'm happy to be here, give advice. You know what I mean?
That's some real shit right there. That's Jason Falovitch. That's the Frankie Lee podcast. And that is the mic drop for this week. Much love, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Frankie Lee podcast.